rise of social media and all that sort of thing, the generation gap, do you think it's ever been any wider, or is this all just nonsense? Do you think we need to give grannies more credit?
I think it's a wonderful time for technology and for everybody, and I think we should give grannies a lot of credit because, you know, I've got a grandson. He's nearly 10, Oliver. I am the best nana in the world. Hey. There is nobody better than me.
Excuse me, there's 3 of us here.
No, I am the best nana. I mean, I am, you know, I do everything with them, and he shows me everything. I must admit, you know, like some things on the computer or that I do get stuck with. On my phone, and he just goes, and he'll teach me how, and I listen, and I want to know, and I think that's all there is to it. And I think it's very patronising to say that older people, well, they're never going to understand. They don't, isn't it, ladies? That's not fair on any of us because we do understand. I understand.
I didn't understand.
Where do I go?
My agent used to fax me over all the information that I needed to get all the time, and it drove me mad. I'd run out of ink, I'd have no paper or whatever, and I said to the kids, help me, I need to set up an email account so I can email my agent, she can send me over an email. They wouldn't help me. They just got frustrated after about 5 minutes. So I found out that you can go to a local library free of charge, and I went there for an hour, and this woman just sat with me, talked me through it, put it all down on paper. I never needed the paper after that, and I sent my agent an email. She was like, oh my God, it's changed our lives. You know,
there you go, you did it like that.
Exactly, I picked it up. It's someone having the patience to sit and explain it to you. They didn't have the patience with me, whereas this woman did. And it's free. Anyone can go to their local library and learn how to use... You can use emails and everything, but I couldn't until then.
I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's really good.
I don't necessarily... For me, it's not about... You know, we do live in a world now that is technology, and you have to do your best to try and get your head around some of it, otherwise it's impossible to exist, you know. So I do that. My kids are still... But I'm still a bit of a technophobe, you know. I'll say to Kira, I don't know how to get my phone to do this, and she'll go... and give it back to me, you know. But I've learnt to text and everything now. So I'm all right with that. My problem with the generation gap issue isn't about technology. My problem is being constantly told when I don't agree with how some young people behave is, oh, it's because you're old. And, oh, were you never young once? And I want to go, yes, I was. And I used to go out with all my friends, and I used to drink in those days, and I used to have a great time, but I didn't urinate in the street, and I didn't pole dance with my breasts hanging out, and I didn't sleep with every guy that came up and said hello. And I don't think that is anything to do with generation. For me, I just want to go back and go, where did you decide that you could have no morals and no respect for yourself? So for me, it's more, that's the generation gap that I would like to go back. Like with Charlotte, you know, she's from Geordie Shore, she's had that kind of past. If I was doing a programme with her, I'd go, forget technology, tell me where it all went wrong as far as that goes. And why now you just think I'm an old fuddy-duddy, because I wouldn't do that.
Well, don't you think that is a generational thing? Because I can remember, obviously, when I was younger, it was Mary Whitehouse. You know, she was outraged at everything that was happening in society back then. And now we look back and think, do you know, perhaps she had a point. But back then, people always say, oh, she's a fuddy-duddy, no one should listen to her, because she was trying to bring...
about Elvis.
Yeah, she was trying to bring standards in TV. I mean, my good, she'd be spinning in a grave now. She saw...
She would.
Absolutely. I think that the thing that is quite sad, obviously talking about the generation gap, is that in previous generations, you would look to your parents or your grandparents for advice, whether it was on love or life or relationships or just general life experience. But now, there is such a huge gap in between what our experiences are and what our predecessors have experienced, that there's almost no link between them, because, you know, we were talking about friendships and this sort of thing. You know, Charlotte was talking about there, look, I've had so many likes. That's not necessarily a real friendship.
No.
Whereas an older generation can't quite get their head around the fact that that's not that all these likes and clicks and this and that, it's not real.
Not really. It's like 5 minutes of fame, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's as if, like, they want to be on a front cover, and it's everybody that's gone past them that has made it look as though that's how you become famous and that makes you important. And it doesn't at all. And you're right. If you're going to live your life by a click, and you might get 50, you might get 1,000 clicks, what are they? They're nothing, and they've gone to like that.
Yeah. I think putting the sort of social media side to one thing, I think in a way to try and keep the divide, keep it knitted together, is to try and sort of keep traditions going. Now, obviously, you know, the sort of obvious one is the Sunday dinner thing, and I know that's what you like to keep going.
Yeah, because my mum used to do roast dinner every Sunday. We'd all go round, and then when my mum passed away, it then came to my house. So I do roast dinner every week. They're all round my house, all the kids and everything. And the one rule that I have is when they arrive is they put their phones on the side.
Yeah.
And if we're out in a restaurant and we put the phones down, and they say first one to pick the phone up pays the bill. They never pay it, but.
Is there anything? I mean, obviously you're a brand new nana, and your granddaughter's really little. But is there anything you've tried to pass on?
Yeah, I think, you know, I think the thing is when you grow up with things that you're so used to doing that remind you then of your childhood.
Yeah.
So if you're talking, you know, it's a bit early to talk about Christmas, but you mentioned Christmas dinner and stuff like that. But it's things like that where you try and keep it. You know, we were such telly addicts, and then. But the one time the telly was never allowed on was Christmas Day, ever.
Yeah,
my dad, my dad.
No
we talked
phone,
about that earlier.
no telly.
But I've tried to carry that on, and my kids now look at me like
you're mad.
No TV.
For more Loose Women action, click here. And I'd subscribe if I were you. It's totally free, and it means you'll be kept up to date with new videos and exclusive YouTube content.